welcome to Eco Girl in a Modern World. My name is Shelley and my channel is dedicated to talking about ways to be environmentally friendly in a modern context. This video we're going to jump right in. The last video we talked about fall cleaning, and during the video I talked a little bit about, I kind of went off on a little bit of a side talking about gas-powered vehicles and, you know, the difference between gas-powered and electric vehicles. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit again in this video. But this video, since we are just a few weeks out from Halloween, I wanted to talk about eco-friendly Halloween costumes. Now, to jump right in, you know, we typically try to, most people try to, if you are going to dress up for Halloween, you usually start pretty early, especially if you know what you want to dress up as. Now, you know, and we're going to just talk about a few eco-friendly ways that we can handle that. Now, of course, I've said in previous videos, Halloween is probably the most wasteful production of clothes. And the holiday started off very, very kind of simple, and then over the years it's become everyone's favorite holiday, you know, because you get to dress up and it's exciting. But if there's several books that talk about the history of Halloween, and there's some interesting videos on both TikTok and on YouTube that actually talk about the history of Halloween. But it was really just, Oh Hallows Eve, or Samhain Samhain in Ireland, and in Scots, Gaelic and Scots lore, it was really the day. It was the day of the year when the veil between the other world and the real world is at its thinnest, at its weakest point. So you would either dress up like a ghoul or goblin, so you would not be recognized as being human, or you would carve a jack-o'-lantern to ward off evil spirits. So for that reason, it does have a little bit of a ghoulish kind of undertone. Some people don't really like Halloween, and I understand. That's a lot of people want to jump straight to Thanksgiving and Christmas. But for those who do enjoy Halloween, and it's always been a fun celebration for me. It's in October, which is my birth month, so it's always been a fun thing. But it is a very, just like we talked, if you watched my fast fashion video, a lot of the, as it's gained in popularity, and it seems like we now make Halloween a very big deal. We go all out, we decorate. And I'm not judging anyone. I have friends who do the whole 9 yards, like they cover their front yard in gravestones, and it's cool, right? It's a cool thing, right? And to be honest, if you're using the same decorations every year, I mean, to a certain extent, and if you look at what the decorations are made of, then there are ways that you can do it sustainably. But the biggest problem that I've always had with Halloween is that costumes, just like fast fashion is really produced, in all of the videos you watch here on my channel, I have a very big problem with fast fashion. Fast fashion is, where, things that are produced cheaply, using subpar quality materials, usually polyester. And just for the record, polyester is gasoline. It's fossil fuel based. Polyester is polyurethane. So you are using fossil fuels, you're using gas. And we don't have a whole lot of gas, to begin with, but we're extracting it and using it cheaply to make, Halloween costumes or fast fashion that we wear once and throw away. And to be completely honest, I was thinking about this when I was talking about gas-powered cars versus electric-powered cars. It does seem like it's possible that big oil is really behind fast fashion too. If oil is sold cheaply, or is able to be sold for clothing, then it's the profit margin is really high. And especially around Halloween, when you'll drop quite a bit of money for the costume that you want. Now, the other problem that I have with Halloween is that not only does it play into the fast fashion, the materials used are not sustainable. It uses gas that we shouldn't be. It's usually unfair label labor practices. The clothes are usually made by people who are not paid a living wage, and sometimes it is really sweatshops, like slave labor, like child labor. So that's not good. And then typically that outfit is really flown around the world. It is flown from other countries, and then it makes several stops in other countries before it gets flown to North America or anywhere else that it's going. And so that's a lot of carbon. Even just coming on a ship is enough carbon for like really a lot of cars. And we talk about us driving less. I mentioned with the gas powered vehicles versus electric powered vehicles, we want to drive less to reduce our carbon. Why are we going to pay a cheap amount of money to have some flown all over the place? So Halloween would be a very big contributor to carbon emissions. The last reason that that Halloween's kind of wasteful is because just like in the MermaidCore video, it's kind of a niche thing. If you only wear the costume once, then you never wear it again, then it's really, you're treating it like it's one-time use. And then, and we'll talk about it in a minute, if I'm going to post 2 videos down below, and one of the videos that I'm going to post is by Miss Mojo, and it talks about the most popular Halloween costumes for 2016. And that was 7 years ago, right? So I'm going to post that down below just so you can compare. I'm also going to post their 2023 video. And I just want you to look at it because when you think about it, when you drop, $50 to $100 for a Halloween costume, that theme is pretty dated. Each year you have a theme that's popular. And I just want you to kind of just to give it some context, if you look at the costumes that were popular in 2016, they might be, it was 7 years ago. Would you wear that costume again? Have you worn that costume every single year since you purchased it in 2016? Probably not. So that's the other danger of fast fashion or wear once and throw away. Even if you donate that costume or if you try to give it back or put it back into the circle, it might not easily go back into the circle. And especially, and we'll talk about it throughout the video, when you have a lot of pop culture themes, like we're going to talk a lot about the Barbie movie. A lot of people are going to be dressing up like Barbie once 2000, Halloween 2023 is post and gone. Are you going to be wearing it again next year? Probably not. So we're going to see like a flood of those costumes being produced and bought and sold. So we're gonna jump right in. Now, the first way that you can be environmentally friendly when it comes to Halloween costumes is you can go into it looking to buy secondhand. Now, I'm a big advocate for buying secondhand. I'm particularly an advocate for buying vintage, but I am also an advocate for buying secondhand, like at your thrift store, your Goodwill, and things like that. And actually, I'll post an article down below. Goodwill even has a website that talks about the popular costumes that are, the themes that are popular for this year. And it shows pictures of people who found things at Goodwill to do that costume. Now, there is a downside. There's pros and cons to everything, and the pros to thrifting, and there's several articles that talk about it. The pros to thrifting is, of course, if you buy it secondhand, that garment is already in creation. That polyester has already been used. It's already been flown across the Atlantic, and so you're keeping it out of a landfill because you're giving it a second life. Now, another benefit of buying secondhand is it's usually less expensive. If you're buying it at the thrift store or you're buying it at the vintage store, then you're not paying full price the way that you would if you would go to one of these costume stores. The last thing is that you can usually get very creative with it. So, you can kind of imagine how you want to look and really that's the purpose. It's funny, a lot of these cookie cutter kind of costumes, when they hand it to you, it's the kit that they're giving you. and anybody else who's bought that kit will look exactly the same. So in this culture, you know, in our culture in the United States, we really like to look individual. That's the whole purpose for a lot of this wearing costumes once and not wearing it and throwing it away, is that we want to be seen in it once. So if you thrift your outfit, then you are being creative. You're putting your own stamp on it, and you can usually find a garment or something that's very unique in the way that you did it. The other thing is that you can use the materials to kind of recreate it, and we're going to see that again in a minute. Now, the downsides of thrifting, and there is downsides of thrifting. Now, the first downside of thrifting is that the carbon isn't always zero just because you bought it at the thrift store. You see in social media, both on YouTube and on TikTok, there's these 4 days bags, and what it is that they ask you to go through your closet and mail back to them any clothes that you don't wear. There's also a lot of fast fashion companies are doing that too. They're saying, hey, bring your clothes back in. It doesn't matter what make or model or brand they are, we'll recycle them. Now, what happens is, of all the donations that go to thrift stores, only about 20%, 1/5 of it actually goes back onto the floor at the thrift store. Usually the extra 80 is flown back overseas, sometimes to other countries. And there's in my fast fashion video, there's posts that talk about that. There's bags and bags and bags of clothes that are sent to other countries that people purchase in bulk, and then they pick through it to see what is the best material. So that is more carbon, where it's almost like we're doing the reverse. Instead of being it flown to us, we're flying it back over to other countries. And if the quality of the bag is, the quality of the material is not good, that still cheats people. And, it's kind of a bad cycle. The other thing is that even with reputable companies that take the material, like there's a great Canada company called Prelove, and I'll put a video down below. They actually take what they call overstock materials. It's like the ends, when the first run of a clothing line is done, there's sometimes big end pieces that are left over, and that's what they call dead stock. When dead stock material can be reused, that is really quality recycling. But the only thing that you have to consider is how much is that extra material being flown. It's being flown around. That 80% that doesn't get immediately resold at the thrift store gets flown around to places. The other, and that's a lot more carbon. We're shipping it either by boat or by plane or by train or, carrier pigeon. We're sending it a lot of places, and we really don't want to be using gas or energy in that manner. Which really plays into the second downfall of thrifting, which is thrifting doesn't really solve the consumerism kind of problem. And I'm guilty of this too. I just went to the thrift store yesterday, and I found, I was going to the thrift store, and you've seen this in my other videos, it's really like a treasure hunt. And that's also kind of a disadvantage when you're looking for a Halloween costume, because you can't always just walk into the thrift store or the vintage shop and find exactly what you're looking for. It takes time. Same thing with online. If you go to Micarah, if you go to ThredUp, if you go to eBay. I love eBay. But you have to kind of search and really know what you're looking for. You also have to get comfortable with keywords, because sometimes it's not always going to be defined. Some sellers know exactly the term that you're looking for. If you're looking for, a particular cut of vest, and you say structured vest, the seller who's selling it might not call it that, because, again, we're not all fashion, producers. We don't know the exact terms. So, but basically, thrifting also doesn't really stem the initial problem, which is we like to spend money and buy new things a lot. And if we are just constantly consuming, because you can have thrift hauls. We talk about how bad, Shein hauls are, fast fashion hauls are bad. Thrift hauls are not as good either. You're still coming back with a lot of clothes, right? So, I've talked in my other videos about kind of our 5 fashion rules. The first rule is impulse. We talk about that all the time. Do you really need it? Is it what you need? The second rule is before you spend money on it, is it exactly what you're looking for? Is it the cut? Is it the color? Know your color chart. And is it really, really what you need? The third thing is look for natural materials. A lot of this fast fashion that we're buying, including, Halloween costumes, they get worn once and they're not really good quality, and they saturate the secondhand market, including thrift stores. So if you look for natural fibers like cotton, linen, hemp, silk, or wool, you're really going to be you're going to be finding something that's going to be a little bit more long lasting. And then the problem with thrifting is that it's a good resource. It extends the life of the garment, but the likelihood of you walking into Goodwill or walking into a thrift store and actually picking up something that hasn't been flown around the world. And when you think about it, it's like when you walk into your thrift stores, they have all the Halloween stuff out, but do you think that they keep all of the Halloween stuff in the back, in the storage area in the back of the store for, 335 of the other days, No, they don't have the space for that. They'll have to pull out the Christmas stuff and pull out the fall stuff and the Thanksgiving stuff and the Easter stuff. So a lot of that storage and a lot of that movement of stock, and this is where we're talking stock, happens through shipment and that causes more carbon. And really the source of it is us overproducing clothes in the first place. But, so really the other thing that is really good is that, when we talk about buying secondhand versus buying quality staple pieces, you really do want to just buy quality staple pieces from reputable brands. That's really where you want to start. But for the name of Halloween, of course, that's not really, your staple pieces that you wear every day is not what you're going to be wearing when you're actually creating a costume. So let's get past sorry, and long intro, but let's get into the fun of it. The fun of it is Halloween is the actual one time of year that you can make it look like a costume. I've talked a lot in my fast fashion videos. Sometimes it looks like a costume and you don't mean it to, like it looks costumey because you're trying to, you want your personal style to reflect like an anime character, or, maybe you really like Stranger Things and you want to dress like 11, so you dress in 80s clothes. Sometimes that can really become a little cartoonish looking, but of course Halloween gives you free range. You can dress as cartoonish as you want on this day. So let's jump right in. The way that you get eco-friendly with it is you want to try to thrift first. So you don't really want to make it a thrift haul. You don't want to come back with a bunch of stuff that you don't need. When you go to the thrift store, try to look for those staple pieces that you need. And actually, I might be justifying. Yesterday, I picked up a few pieces that I had been in the market for a denim button-down, shirt, and I found like a good one. I finally found a good one, and I'd been on the lookout for a couple months now. So again, when you go to the thrift store, if you find something else that you've been looking for, that's just an added perk, and you just got to cross your fingers that that the carbon emissions on that garment is pretty low, because hopefully it was one of the garments that was just donated, received, and put right onto the floor. But thrifting is an excellent way to get your costume together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a few videos down below that talk about thrifting. And just one other caveat before we jump into the actual characters that you can dress up as. I do also want to preface that if you do so the first thing you want to do is buy secondhand. Instead, try not to buy new. I saw, things like Spirit of Halloween. When you see things like Spirit of Halloween, that is the equivalent to Shein. That is the equivalent of H&M, of Zara, of Forever 21. It is fast fashion, but it was fast fashion specifically for Halloween. It is made of cheap materials. It is flown all over the world. It is usually unfair labor practices, and that polyester garment is not biodegradable. So if you drop your money on it once, the other thing is if you're doing a theme like Barbie, or, we're going to talk about a few of the themes this year, that costume is pretty much going to be on its way out the day after Halloween. The moment it hits November 1st, you're going to be like, no one's going to buy that off eBay because everybody else has been wearing it. And I actually saw that. So, you know, when you go in and you do go to your thrift store, the second rule that you want to look at is try to buy something that you know that you're going to wear several times. So that's throughout this video, those are the 2 points. Try to thrift it. Try to make it as low a carbon as possible. If you can go to your thrift store with using your own bag and not have that, you know, garment flown to you, and, you know, you can try to reduce the carbon footprint as much as you can and try not to buy it new. The second thing is when you buy that piece, try to think about if you could wear it again. Try to reuse that piece. So one good example that I talked about, and actually one of the costumes, when you look at the video from costumes that were popular in 2016, that video down below, one of the costumes was Wonder Woman. And when you think about it, yes, that was so 7 years ago, right? The Wonder Woman's movies came, they went, everybody was dressing up like Wonder Woman. I bet you if you Google on eBay or Micarah or anywhere a Wonder Woman costume, you're going to see a saturation of them, and none of them are selling because there's so many of them. And you bought it, you know, fast fashion, and it's, you know, nowhere for it to go. Probably a lot of them got thrown away, sadly. Now, I did dress up a little bit like Wonder Woman a couple years ago. I think it was like Wonder Woman 84. And what I did is, so to adhere to the rule of trying to find a piece that you can use again, with the accessories, she carried a lasso, and I actually made the lasso out of ribbon. And of course, if it's secondhand ribbon, if it's ribbon that you can reuse, that's ideal. And what I did is I used it as a lasso for the costume, but then after I used it as a lasso, I noticed that I have a little Christmas tree. I was able to use it as a garland on my Christmas tree. So I didn't go with the plastic light up, you know, that easily breaks. I made my lasso, and then after I was done with it, I was able to find it a different purpose. And if you watch the upcycling video, that's ideal. The other thing is if it's not an accessory like that, you know, so you really got to think about it. And definitely some of these costumes come into those accessories that are hard to reuse or repurpose. So you want to think about that going into it. Just like with the upcycling video, think, okay, do I need to buy a battery operated cheap plastic light up lasso, or can I make one that could be served, can use a different purpose later? So when you go in, think about that with your accessories. The other thing that you want to think about is that if it doesn't involve articles of clothing, can you rewear them, or can you wear that outfit a different way after you're done with Halloween? You know, and you're not going to get that with the plastic, you know, the polyester. So those are the 2 rules that you want to think about for eco-friendly Halloween. Now we're just going to jump straight into some of the costumes. Now, number 1, biggest one that I've seen is Barbie. Barbie movie was huge. And if you watched my BarbieCore video, I predicted this. I knew it was going to shoot up the fast fashion sales of Barbie related stuff, and I knew that it was going to be huge for the costumes. The other thing is that, and this was several months ago, one other sales tactic that a lot of these things do is they say limited supply, you know, almost gone, and that kind of triggers your scarcity. It makes you want to add to cart. But if you looked at the number, they actually, a lot of these places tally the number of sales for that outfit, and the Western Barbie pink vest and pink pants, flared pants combo is probably the number 1 biggest one that's popular. And I knew that going into it. I was like, oh God, you know, that's going to be a sea of polyester, and everyone's going to be buying that like the fast fashion route. Now, there's a video I'm going to post down below, and I really like her channel. It's, I hope I'm saying her name right. It's Micarah Tewers. I'm probably messing up her name, and I apologize. And she is the original Barbie enthusiast. Like, she loves Barbie. She has a motorcycle that is painted like Barbie. And she was a Barbie fanatic before Barbie was popular. Before this movie came out, you know, when all the kids didn't care about Barbie, she cared about Barbie. So and she has an excellent video that talks about the review of the movie. And I'll admit, she is a seamstress. She likes to sew. And I'm really fascinated by her channel because even though, this is eco girl in a modern world, the modern girl side of things does not mean that just because I'm environmentalist means that I do everything in a wooden world and that I don't care about how real people go about making things. And she actually made the Barbie costume. And what I liked about the video is the fact that she does thrift a lot. She uses ThredUp, which flies things around the world, and ThredUp does contribute to that flying of extra clothes and sorting through clothes that I mentioned earlier. But it's still secondhand clothing market, But granted, what I love about her channel is, first off, she's got an adorable bird. The bird could have its own celebrity channel. She's really cute. The other thing is that she's got a really confident style. Honestly, she kind of reminds me of Tube Girl, like, Sabrina, Rasoon? Before Tube Girl became a thing, this girl had it. Like, she has the, freestyle. She's got a very outgoing personality, a lot of confidence. And I like that about her channel. The other thing that I really liked about it is that she is unabashedly herself. She likes Barbie. She does things. Now, the last thing I like about her channel is that she actually makes these clothing. And if just like we watch, Justine LeConte, and she's a fashion designer, a slow fashion designer. She knows the plight of what it's like to make a garment. When you watch this video for this other creator down below, now the materials she's using are not natural fibers. She's not, she uses ThredUp for us to source a lot of her materials, but she's making that pink Barbie outfit, and she's doing everything that we kind of cringe at a little bit with the eco world, where she's putting the stars on in glue. We're using like scuba like fabric, which is, polyester, polyurethane. And there are high quality types of polyester. So that's, but it is still plastic and it's not really biodegradable. But looking at how real people do it. And when you think about it, you can make your Halloween costume. But long story short, she did the Barbie Western girl costume, and it's a really good watch. It's very entertaining, and it shows you what a pain in the butt it is to make one of these costumes. So if you've ever bought one of those, and I think everyone has done this, everyone has bought one of those cheap polyester costumes in their lifetime, before they got wise and woke, myself included. You think about the plight of what it's like to sew one of those garments. And when you see all these complaints of like, well, it doesn't fit me in the bust, it isn't good. You've got someone making $3 a week sewing your clothes. Please give them a break a little bit, because, the video is very educational because it shows the plight of what it's like to actually make this garment from scratch. And she did an excellent job. It's not an eco channel at all, but she's very real. And to be honest, if we're going to make environmental change, we have to be real about the way we do things. And the way she does things is how a lot of people do things. That's how we live. And so looking at it and understanding it from that point and wanting us to kind of be on board with one another is a good way to go. The other thing is she didn't make her outfit. She did not buy it. And I don't know if it looked like she made it from material that she had bought in bulk, so I don't think that she upcycled any clothes to do it, but she did still do a good job. Now, again, that's the #1 MermaidCore outfit that I've seen, is that Cowgirl one. The next runner-up is that I've seen a lot of people wearing that really, really crazy neon, patch with the sun visor skating outfit. In the MermaidCore video, you could watch that. I have opinions about what buying those skates, buying those things for one-time use. Honest, that is something that you could probably find at the thrift store. A lot of people will probably be on the lookout for that, but if you want to look for some cheesy unitards, and actually the article from Goodwill has that as one of the outfits too. So, and again, you can find something like a unitard. Now, the only other caveat is that when you're going to buy something tight like that, I really don't like buying that secondhand, because, it's like buying a bathing suit. You really don't want to have
anything on your nether regions that are, really close to the crotch, but that is at your discretion. You could probably find it secondhand, but, please just don't buy one of those cheapo outfits. You might even have a workout outfit that has that kind of neon print, and you could put a bathing suit over it. And the benefit of that is that, that bathing suit that's over it could be reused, right? You could, if you do get the neon print bathing suit, you could re-wear the bathing suit without the, without the unitard shorts. And that's a way that you can buy it once and get more use out of it the one time. Now, the next outfit from the Barbie movie that I saw a lot of is, and there's eco-friendly ways to do it, is the jumpsuits, the pink jumpsuits. The pink jumpsuits are really, there's a lot of eco-friendly lines that have stuff like that. Like you could look at Pact, you could look at Organic Basics, you could look at, there is a company called Magic Linen. They do fly it quite a bit around the world, but the nice thing about Magic Linen is that it is 100% linen, and it's made to order. So when you order it, only one is produced. It's not like it's mass produced like you see with a lot of these other things. So it's a little bit better on the carbon scale. Not the best when you still have to fly it across the pond, but you can look for a pink jumpsuit. And again, if you can look to re-wear that again. Now, in my BarbieCore video, I also talked, you don't have to just be Barbie. You can be the other characters as well. I actually, in the Barbie video, I talked about how the way that you really want to honor Barbie is to honor the Barbie that meant something to you. And I made a joke in that video about a Dream Date PJ, because what it was is one of the Barbies I grew up with, I grew up in the 80s, had the little ruffle skirt. And the ruffle skirt, there was Barbie who had the pink skirt, and then there was PJ that had the blue skirt. And I always liked the blue. I was never a huge pink fan. And it's funny, I did go to a vintage store, and that carbon footprint was really low, because the vintage store I went to acquires their stuff from she scours their stores in her state and state sales, and so the carbon footprint is really low when I go to that store because it's a vintage shop. But I found a beautiful dress that I actually wore for my birthday dinner, and it was very Dream Date PJ, and I felt very pretty, and it was very high quality. But you could do something like that too. Again, like we said, I could dress up as Dream Date PJ if I wanted to, and get away from the mainstream Barbie. Not many people may know who I am, and that actually kind of plays into the next one is that a few other costumes that are going to be really popular is we're also going to see the Super Mario Brothers movie that, was another big movie that came about. And that one's a really easy one to do because when you think about it, it's really just a pair of jean overalls, right? And you could wear that again. I actually had a pair of short talls that I wore over the summer, which were incredibly comfortable. Now, I know you probably don't want to be, if you're in the colder states areas, you don't want to be wearing shorts on Halloween. If you're in a warmer climate, you could pull it off. But that is, you find it secondhand, a good pair of denim overalls, and you can find like a trucker cap or something, and then you can just put the Luigi or the M on top of it. A few other videos I'll post below are girls who thrift for the costumes, and one of the costumes that they look for is Princess Peach. Princess Peach is very easy to do by finding like a gown, like a prom gown or a bridesmaid gown. And you could really go with the darker pinks or the actual peach. The nice thing about it being a video game is that if you did have a favorite version of Mario, Mario Kart or this or that, you could go with whatever theme that is your favorite version. Oh, sorry, I hit myself on my string. You could go with your favorite version of that character, whatever costume looks great. Actually, at the Goodwill website. One other thing is that with the Super Mario Brothers movie, when in the Miss Mojo video for the costumes for 2023, you actually see Anna Taylor-Joy who is the voice of Princess Peach in the movie, she was wearing almost like a moto jacket. It was couture, but it was a pink moto jacket, and she was Princess Peach from the Mario Kart scene. So you could do that as well. You could go and look for a secondhand, especially at a thrift store, and try to find like a moto jacket that would be in the Princess Peach colors. And it doesn't have to be solid pink. Maybe it has a stripe of pink or a stripe of peach, and you could really, again, make that your own. And the nice thing is you could wear that jacket again. So again, look for pieces that you can wear over and over again. The Goodwill website also had a cute toad costume, so you could make this a family outfit thing. And what you could do is, it was so cute, you could get a shower cap. And that's one thing I noticed about thrift stores. Thrift stores do also sometimes sell brand new, like, excess merchandise. So you might find a shower cap that's new, that's white, and you can just put, you could either sew or glue on, hopefully upcycled or, natural material, little red circles. And then you could just find a little blue vest. And again, a blue vest is something that the child can wear again later. And you've got a good toad outfit. Now, I did found a good pair. There was a great pair of, if you watched my MermaidCore video, that was, there was a top in that video that I wanted to wear, and I actually wore that with a pair of pants that looked, I don't know if they call it genie pants or balloon pants, but they're very voluminous, and it actually looked I could probably wear those pants if I wanted to be Toad. And honestly, I'm kind of relating to Toad a lot. I did not expect, I finally saw the Super Mario Brothers movie recently, and I did not expect to get into it as much as I did. I was a little disappointed that Yoshi wasn't there. The next movie, they got to give me some Yoshi, because he's my man. But I really did love the Toad character, and it was so funny. The last video I was talking so much smack about electric vehicles, just in a quick tangent there, I actually, over my birthday, I had dinner with a friend, and I was very humbled by the conversation, because we were talking about the difference between, smaller vehicles and bigger vehicles, and I was telling her about how I didn't like the backup cameras. I thought they were wasteful, but she really humbled me, and she said, no, I really like them. They're good for me, and I don't have a big car. I have a mid-sized car, and I love that little chair, and that it feels like a captain's chair. I just want that chair, and I want my backup camera. So I think the reason I got on my high horse the last video is not because I find it terribly wasteful. I just feel like to be 100% honest, I do feel like it's big oil still kind of selling to us. They're trying to upsell us. Our houses are too big, our cars are too big. And when you look at what's on the market, it seems like you have a choice of a Nissan Leaf, like a little clown car, or a huge SUV. There's no, and I'm kind of the Goldilocks rule, where it's like, where's the happy medium? Where's the middle one? And my friend was the one my friend's car actually is a happy medium. It is not an SUV. It's not on the same frame as a truck. So, but when, to circle back to Super Mario, that scene with Toad, I thought it was so funny, because I was thinking about that, about me getting on my high horse about electric vehicles and how big they're getting, which is true. But Toad is in his, little, I'm a big loving car guy, he's this little mushroom in a big car. So, I thought it was cute. So you could pull off a Toad outfit pretty easily with some of these pieces. And honestly, those parachute pants, I wear those a lot. It's a cute, it actually has little buttons with little overalls that I wear that outfit interchangeably. So I've definitely sported that in other ways. So if you find a pair of pants like that, don't just think, oh, okay, this is only my Halloween costume. Find other ways to use it, and a vest is a good way to do it. And actually, with the Barbie core, the pink vest that we were talking about earlier in the season, before I even knew that, I didn't even, the previews for the movie hadn't even come out, I had gotten a pink vest that could, if I find a pair of pink jeans, I could easily, a pair of pink flare jeans, I could easily do the Western Barbie look And I've had that vest for a long time. It's 100% cotton. I've worn it 4 times. So, try to buy secondhand and try to, wear it as much as you can. Now, another theme that talks about vests and straw hats is that there was in the Miss Mojo video, it talked about what is it called? It's called One Stop. It's an anime, and I'm sorry, I have to reference my thing here, but there's an anime that talks about One Stop, and the name of the main character is Monkey Tuffy. And forgive me, I'm not totally familiar with the genre, but apparently that's a very popular show, and his outfit is very easy to do. It's just like a white t-shirt, and we all own those, a vest, and again, vests are very popular for both men and women. You can really re-wear, and a pair of like cut off jeans, and you could even do it yourself if you need to fringe the edge of a pair. You could cut off jeans and then make them fringe. And then later you could cut them, cut the fringe off and roll them up, and they can be a regular pair of summer pants. And then a pair of comfortable sandals or Birkenstocks would work. He also has a straw hat. And I noticed there were a lot of straw hats. I went to the thrift store just yesterday and I saw a lot of straw hats. And I'll tell you in a minute, this is going to play into my Halloween costume, because so finding something like that is pretty easy. Now, again, if you're going to get a hat, make sure that you make sure that it's very, very clean. Dust off the inside. You can disinfect the inside different ways, both naturally and with sprays. But if you are going to buy a hat secondhand, but those are in abundance at the thrift store, and I saw quite a few of them. Now, the other ones that we saw is there are more human type of outfits too, both in single and in couples outfits and in family outfits. And what I saw is that another one that you can see is Abbott Elementary. There's a character named Janine. And it looks like Janine is a real popular character, and her outfit, being a school teacher, is really easy to replicate. I think there was also an episode where she dressed like Marilyn Monroe. So just like Princess Peach, you could try to look for like a prom dress, and that's a great way to recycle and reuse. And again, if you're going to do something as dramatic as the prom dress, try to see if you could reuse it. Now, the next one that this kind of plays into is, you can also do, if you're doing kind of normcore, you don't have to, we'll circle back to that in a minute. But in the vein of really dressing up, like Marilyn Monroe or Princess Peach, you can definitely look for your favorite Disney princess. I mean, that never goes out of style. Little Mermaid, if you watch my MermaidCore video, a lot of ideas there. And so, a lot of prom dresses, and actually one of the videos I'm going to post down below, she talks about dressing up like Micarah from Hercules. And she did find a really pretty satin purple dress. Now, the other way that this can play over is that Bridgerton has been really huge. The Queen Charlotte series, and this one is mentioned in the Mojo video, but the problem with it is that that's going to be a lot of sequins. Just like we talked in Upcycling, we really don't want to be spending $90 in glitter and sequins and glue, and all of that is really toxic and not needed. But if you do, you can find a nice bridesmaid gown or prom gown. And if you have ribbon, or if you have something that you can sew in or make embellishments, I mean, I just feel like we've all been kind of on a Bridgerton kick. I think just about everyone has a high-waisted, empire-waisted, poof sleeve floral gown. So even if you didn't want to, and there's a lot of corsets out there too. So I do feel like you could probably find that secondhand. I didn't see a whole lot of them at the thrift store, but I definitely think that you could probably find it on ThredUp or eBay. And that's a good way to start, because you can have just like a regular prom gown and then put a corset over it, and that would look very regal, and you could probably pull off the, Queen Charlotte look. Otherwise, you can just go with what's out there with the empire waist and look for like a dress like that, which is also really in the 90s theme. Baby doll dresses and dark floral prints have been a real thing lately. So if you do look to go for a dress like that, try to look for a pattern that you really, could wear again. Now, the other thing is that, and I promise I'm going to be doing another fashion video soon, but a lot of colors for the fall have been kind of pastel in nature. Like, first off, a real lime green color has been popular. For my birthday, I did gift myself. I did purchase one of the Coachtopia bags. And we're going to be talking about that in a future video. Coachtopia is made by Coach, and it's actually made of upcycled materials. Now, we're going to have to do a separate video about that because there's a lot of controversy of it. It's basically bonded leather, but they do have, they talk about the amount of carbon that was used to make it. They talk about how it's made. And the bag, I got 2 bags, actually, one small one medium-sized one. But one of the bags has like a piping that's really of a lime green color. And olive oil green is kind of a popular color. That's going to play into the fall fashion. And again, in November, I'll get back to the fashion things. But that's been a popular color. So if you do try to find like a dress or a top, because again, you know, it doesn't have to just be a dress. It can be 2 parts. If you find it in kind of that olive oil green, that would be really on trend in style. The other thing is really a pretty light yellow. And light yellow also plays into Barbie-core. There's a scene at the end of the movie that talks about kind of her choice and her transformation. I don't want to give it away for anyone who hasn't seen the movie. But that one is a very powerful color as well. I actually got a yellow cotton gingham dress. And the reason that I did that is because that could be a Barbie-core type of outfit, because you see her wear that at the end. But the other thing is that has a very deep symbolism, because yellow is the symbol of women's suffrage, like women's right to vote. And if you watch my Barbie-core video, I mentioned that my mom had the original 1959 doll, and her grandmother, my great-grandmother, used to hand sew. Like, she used to sew and make little clothes, and she used to make yellow outfits for the doll, like a lot of them. And I never realized what it meant. But when I think about it, my grandmother was 23 years old when the 19th Amendment, the right to vote for women, was ratified. So in her lifetime, she was seeing, and it's not like it takes effect right when you stamp the thing. She lived the rest of her life, you know, forging the way for that movement. So, I mean, Barbie-core, you can get, and believe me, it's a beautiful dress, and yellow is also very on par for fashion for fall. So you could do a yellow dress and be Barbie-core, and, you know, and kind of look with your accessories as to how you can, you know, point out that that's related to the movie, and still wear that dress many times after it. And so I did feel very pretty in that dress. I was like, wow, this is nice. But so those are just a few ways. Now, you can also go one last one. Wednesday Addams. Wednesday has been a very popular show. If you watched my Barbie-core video, I did have an outfit that I got from the thrift store. It was sleeveless, so again, if it's going to be cold out, you know, I know sometimes you get those years where it's kind of a mild Halloween, and let's be real, global warming is here. We've had abnormally warm Halloweens because we buy the costume. Please don't buy it from Spirit of Halloween. We're gonna have a heat wave in Halloween if we keep doing that with the carbon that we got going on. But if you do, you know, with the sleeveless, you know, Wednesday Addams, that outfit was 100% cotton with the sleeves, and I actually got it for $7.99 at the thrift store. And you, the Goodwill article down below has links for what you can do. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly the Wednesday dress, like what she wore to the ball. You can do more of a Peter Pan collar. That's the round white collar. There's something called a dickie. It's not a full shirt. It's just something that goes under your cardigan. So you could absolutely do like that round Peter Pan collar, and that you will probably find at the thrift store, because believe it or not, those type of shirts are really kind of old school. You put on a black sweater over it, and try to find one of those ties.
you could really, really pull off that outfit and really have it be something you can wear. Also, if you find a black pleated skirt, you could absolutely rewear that, and the preppy look, the Ivy League kind of look is still in, and carrying over into, and you can also do very plaid skirts, dark themed plaid skirts look really, really good and would look very Wednesday Addams as well. And of course, you can actually don't have to do the modern Wednesday Addams. You can also do the old school Wednesday Addams, and with just like a black tie and ponytails. That works great. Now, just a few other ones is that you can do some very original ones, like in a few of the videos in the Miss Mojo videos, they talk about being in the 2016 one, they had a good idea about it was dressing up like a Snapchat filter. And I know, again, the purpose of me posting that video is you can see how outdated it is. A costume that you wore in 2016, you'd probably be like, oh, that's so out of style, I would never wear that again. Well, yeah, that's the problem. So if you think about your pieces and how to reuse them. But the Snapchat filter thing really spans into a lot of different things. You see some funny couples costumes. Like, for instance, I saw a cute one where it says filter, no filter, and they're just wearing matching plaid jackets or shirts, and and one's the guy, one's the girl, with reusable cups. I thought that was an adorable idea. So you don't have to, and that's a great last minute idea too. The other thing is that, of course, if you got the kids interested in doing a family theme, you could absolutely, try to find pieces that you would rewear. And, it makes it allows you to be creative. So just kind of think outside the box. You don't, there's going to be a lot of people dressing up like Barbie this year. You don't have to follow that trend if you don't want to. Now, to wrap up, I'm going to talk about what I'm dressing up as and a few of the outtakes. Now, the first thing that I wanted to do is I did want to, I first thought of when, earlier in the year before Barbie came out, I thought, okay, let me just dress up like the main character, Casey from Tomorrowland, because I really love that movie. I thought it was very inspirational. And she had a very easy outfit. She basically had like a varsity jacket. And then a lot of the scenes she had on just like a gray striped shirt. And what was great is that, and a NASA hat. I did luck out, and one of the first trips to the thrift store, and this is 100% cotton, and believe me, I know that just because it's 100% cotton doesn't mean that it's eco-friendly. Cotton, regular cotton is made with a lot of pesticides. It uses a lot of water. It causes a lot of runoff of fertilizer. The other thing is it's usually a very cheap level of cotton when it's mass produced, so I understand all of that. I just like it because it's a natural fiber and it breathes, and if you buy it secondhand, it still has a better end life than a lot of other things. But I did find a striped shirt, and it's 100% cotton. It has snaps, and this thing is the most comfortable thing ever. And it really did look like the Casey, like I could just wear this with a pair of jeans, and if I find actually like a varsity shirt, jacket, I could wear it with that too. The other thing is that I did luck out, and I actually found a NASA cap. I found this on eBay, and it was like, I haven't seen another one since, and I love this thing. I actually just wear it because I like to wear it. But I could have very easily dressed up like Casey, very simple. Now, I have to admit, when I put on the stripes look great on, but I do it makes me, when I see the stripes, it makes me think of that villain scene in A Christmas Story. Bad Bart, when was it, when the main character, I'm forgetting his name, he pulls out, his Red Ryder BB gun and he goes after the bad guys. I looked like a bank robber from the 20s when I have that shirt on. I, of course, could put the jacket over it and tone down the look. But I thought about it and I was like, oh, not many people are going to know who I am. And to be honest, I have been wearing that, the striped shirt is so comfortable. It's kind of like a terry cloth. I've been wearing it to bed because I have a pair of gray sleep slacks. I've been sleeping in it more than I've actually been wearing it. So
but that's a perfect example. I bought it for the purpose of it being a Halloween costume, and I've been using it as a sleep shirt too. So that's the way you want to go. You know, if you buy a piece and know that you can rewear it, way to go. Now, since I've abandoned my Tomorrowland idea, I did decide, and again, because it's been the year oh Barbie, I decided to think about, okay, just true to my MermaidCore video, I thought, okay, what was the Barbie that actually meant something to me? And on my birthday, I dressed up like Dream Date PJ. I felt beautiful. I've done nothing this week, and I'm sorry, that's why I look a little rough. I promise the next video I will actually get I clean up good. I promise you guys I clean up good, and I will do a good video. It's just, the other thing is that school has really been kicking my butt, and kicking my butt in a good way. But you know how there are some classes, you know, when I actually went to school and took several classes at once, there are some classes that really are hard, and they don't look like they're hard, but they are. And then, you know, you think it's going to be a coasters class, and it really is hard. And then there's others that, you know, you think, you know, like, you know, nuclear physics, you know, you think nuclear physics is going to be really hard, and it's easier than you anticipated. And you need kind of like a good balance of the two. I didn't expect this class to be easy, but I did not expect this class to have an exam, a homework, an activity, to read a chapter that can be anywhere from 30 to 60 pages long, as well as watching modules that are anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes long. And 4 of those modules, plus doing online visits to websites, this thing is kind of kicking my butt. And the other thing is that the other week I got confused, and I read ahead. I read too much, and this was the week of my birthday. I read too much, and I ended up reading the entire chapter about radioactivity, like nuclear waste. Like, remember, and again, the last video I was talking about where the energy, last video when I talked about where the power plant energy comes from, I really did not know, and now I know. And the benefit is, first off, we're going to be doing a lovely video, and I'm going to be a big old ball of joy for that one. Yeah, I'm referencing Mario a lot in this video. Yes, you know me, I will keep it cheery as best I can. We'll talk about solutions, but when it comes to nuclear waste, when the fact that a power plant can only last 50 to 60 years and we don't really utilize the recycling practices for uranium, that's going to be a fun video. But it did, on the bright side, it did completely prime me for the next video that that's going to come out right before Halloween, and we're going to talk about toxic substances, but in a fun way. We're going to be talking about, like, it's going to be like all the Halloween things, you know, the things that we used to do that made it creepy, you know, in Halloween. So we'll keep it positive, but just know that I've got a brain full of STEM information, and you know, but the MermaidCore, sorry, tangent. The MermaidCore that I really meant something to me growing up was one actually not really represented in the movie, but it was represented on the press tour when Margot Robbie went around, which is Day to Night Barbie. I did love Day to Night Barbie. I thought she was entrepreneurial, she worked full time, she owned her own place. And again, if you watch the MermaidCore video, you see what a fan I am. So I decided to eco-thrift that outfit, and that's what you're going to see the next time we get together. You're going to see my completed outfit. But what happened was I needed several pieces for that. First off, you need kind of like a suit, and it kind of transforms. The day outfit is like this pink suit, and then the skirt turns around into this taffeta type of thing. And that's a lot of microplastics, so I wanted to be very careful with it. But the top, I found a beautiful pink vest. I'm sorry, not pink vest, a pink jacket that's 100% linen. It's not lined, and it's linen. It's really cute, that Barbie pink. The other thing is I found a silk skirt, guys, a pink silk skirt, and it's so pretty, and it's easy to launder. It breathes like a dream. And the nice thing about silk is it keeps you pretty warm in winter, but then it keeps you cool in summer. It's very versatile. And so I found that. I also found a 100% silk scarf, because she has kind of like this scarf. Now I did have to compromise a little bit with the white hat, and I'm kicking myself because I saw that picture of going to the thrift store. There was a white hat there that was a straw one. I did have to compromise and kind of buy the hat, but I don't intend on discarding the hat. I'm going to keep it. Now, the other thing that I noticed is that with Barbie coming out, there's been no pink ribbon anywhere. And most ribbon is synthetic, fibers anyway, which always burns my cookies. But I went to the craft store, and it's like all the pink ribbon is sold out. Like, it's not anywhere. And I'm looking for, on her hat, on the 80s hat, there is there's a little band that's pink with white dots. And so, but I couldn't find any of that. But guess what? I looked. One of the pairs of pants that I got from the thrift store that's 100% cotton. It was a pair of sleep pants. The drawstring on them is pink with white dots. So I can replace, and it is synthetic material, but what I can do is I can use the ribbon off the drawstring of my pants. I can replace the drawstring on my pants with 100% cotton ribbon, and I can reuse that ribbon for the brim of my hat. So I was really excited about that. The other thing is that you heard me lament a lot about talking about wanting kind of a Barbie-esque ring. I did find a pretty pink sapphire that turns out to be my birthstone. I didn't know that. I thought I was just opals, born in October, but pink sapphire is my birthstone. And I did find it is lab created, so that's one benefit. If it is lab created, then it's not as bad. I mean, there's nuances to everything because but if you're not drilling for gemstones, that's a lot easier on labor, on workers, and not the waste that comes from mining. So gem created, and it is silver that's supposed to be reclaimed silver. So I found a beautiful ring that I did get at a good price, and so that's going to be kind of my Barbie ring. But I'll let you see it when it comes all together. But that's my plan. I am going to dress up for Halloween. I don't do that every year, and we'll see who recognizes me. Again, I don't think anyone would recognize me if Margot Robbie hadn't done that as one of the looks on her press tour. But that's the way to be. But all right, guys, well, this was a longer video, but I hope it was helpful. Again, try not to buy new. Don't go for the dollar store. A lot of the videos I'm posting are going to talk about that. Oh, well, I had to go to the dollar store. Try not to do that. Just like in the upcycling video, you don't need to bedazzle it with $92 worth of craft supplies. People are not really going to notice it. If you just get a pair, of pink flared jeans and let them be, maybe you could put a sticker on it, or maybe you can cut out stars that you temporarily adhere to it. That way later you can take them back off and still have a garment that you can wear. And definitely look for those garments that you can wear again and again, because that would be the way that you stay eco-friendly. But if you get a chance, I would love to see what you're wearing, or if I know we just covered a few ideas. Am I completely out of the loop, or any, I know we focused on Barbie, but there's plenty more ideas out there. I would love to see what you're doing. Also, if you like what you see on this channel, I would be very honored if you would like, comment, and subscribe. But take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.